I tried to play a video game, my laptop decided it did not like mouse and keyboard and decided to screw the keyboard over. Every time I pressed D, it minimized the thing. So, just doing painting. Got lots to paint, lots to do. Let's start off by finishing off this one right here. Finish her off, do some magic, paint up that bone, paint up the pendant items, finish her off, then move on to a votann character, then move on to a horse, then move over to just greching. Just an army of greching that need painted. But for now, let's just get her done. Let's do the magic first. While the magic's drying, we'll do stuff like skeleton horde and then that kind of thing.
I must lower our shields to beam those men up from the planet surface. Once the shield down, the will force have the opportunity to fire. Why not only the inside? Now enjoy those shields. Leave the hailing frequency out. Yes, sir. Shield down. Mr. O'Brien, transport Command LaForge and the Romulan directly to the bridge. Shields up. Has been in any way mistreated. I've given no information, Commander, but I have not been mistreated.
That's that one done. Let's do skeleton horde now, while the green is drying off. Do skeleton horde. So
I assure you I intended
do you want to go over something? Welcome to my glasses. Ow. Warhammer. Downloads. No, that's AOS. Let's go to some orcs, just because they got some new updates. 2 new detachments. I had read one of these wrong. Firstly, they got a detachment called the Speedwar. Very cool detachment name. Where, basically, each time a speed freak or a truck unit, excluding aircraft, again, making aircraft terrible, this is orc aircraft, however, so I think they're kind of decent. It's orc and Drukhari that have the decent-ish aircraft for aircraft rules. No, basically, when each time they advance, it can use its turbo. If it does, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of that phase, that model moves. This is the movement characteristic changes to 24 inches. However, you can only move in straight lines. You cannot pivot your models whatsoever. And since all the Speed Freak models that I know of, the Boomdecker Snares Wagon, and the Orc bikes are all on oval bases, they have to pivot. You have to rotate them to pivot. It's quite cool. But can only move in one straight line until the end of the turn. Ranged weapons equipped by those models have the assault ability, meaning you always want to be advancing. If you can get a straight line, you should be advancing. You cannot make you can make straight lines, you cannot make 2 straight lines. You can't go up and then left. It has to be one continuous straight line. Yeah, while this unit is turbo, the model in that unit cannot pivot, and they cannot make a move of 2 or more straight lines, e.g. to navigate around obstacles. That unit also cannot declare a charge, even if another rule would let it declare a charge in a turn in which it advances. So advance and charge means nothing with this ability. There are some abilities, however, which I will go over. Enhancements. Custom with a K, Box with another K. Loving the C's replacing C's being replaced by K's. But basically, a Death Killer War Trike, so the war boss on War Trike basically, but it's a freewheeler. Each time it makes a turbo move, it can move horizontally through terrain features, basically move through terrain. while using its turbo, it gets to move through terrain. The Dakka Kamek, literally just DAKK the Dakka Amek. Mech models only, so this can only go on your mech models, unfortunately. And I don't think there's a mech model on Warbike. But, yeah. Sorry, message. Just got a message. But no, basically, each time the bearer uses its mechanic ability, until the start of your next turn, command phase, razor weapons equipped by that selected vehicle have rapid fire 1. Which is weird, because they already have rapid fire on their weapons most of the time anyway. It's orcs. A lot of their weapons do already have rapid fire. Because orcs do not like the, oh, we'll just precision hit them. No, we will shoot everything and more. The more Dakka, the better Dakka, as an orc would say. That's some more green magic, and now we just need the light green, and I've forgotten to do Elder Emerald on the 2 torso side bits. But no, that vehicle gains rapid fire 1, and then we have another enhancement for the Death Trikes. Another enhancement, the Super Burny Fuel, which basically, let's grab Lead Belcher first because we'll need Wraithbone to coat in the armor panels, so we might as well do the Lead Belcher so I can use the Wraithbone to repair stuff as well. But basically, change the attack characteristics of the bearer's killer jet burner weapon to 3d6, and change the attack characteristics of the killer jet's burner cutter weapon to 3. I think that triples the attacks. I think so anyway. I do not know the stat line at all. I believe that does in fact triple the attack state. That or just increases it by 1. But I do feel like triple the attacks is more of an Orky thing, so yeah. And then we have the Master Mechanologist. Only on big mechs, so not even on your mechs, it's on your big mechs only. Improve the ballistic skill characteristics of the barrel's range by 1. Oh no, the orcs hit on 4s! Possibly freeze because this is a character model. So maybe they naturally have a better thing. It is also a mech. So maybe it hits on 2s then. I'm betting on freeze hitting with freeze when you give this enhancement because orcs hit on 5s. Even the shooter orcs that are meant to be shooting, you know, the flash kits are meant to be shooting, hit on 4s, goes down to 3 because they are heavy. I'm gonna say this is a similar thing, just you can move and you still get the hit on 3s. Then it has 6 enhancements, all for 1 command point. Wraithbone, on the move, on the move, the move, on the move, on the move. Your movement phase, one orc unit from your army that has not been selected to move until the end of the turn, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in which turn it fell back or advance, unless it used turbo this turn. Don't know why you don't need to clue that, because turbo already specifies that you can't advance and charge unless otherwise specified. So they're basically double quoting this for some reason. Don't know why. Because you can also not advance with turbo. So it's a weird clause to add. Double protection? But no, basically you get to advance and charge, and you get to shoot, advance, and charge. You're eligible to shoot and declare a charge in which you fell back or advance. You get mobile Dakka Storm. You're only on speed freaks or trucks. So only on your speed freaks and trucks units. Lead Belcher needs to calm down a bit, so we're just going to leave it at that, I think, for now. before we get onto any more of the stuff. Let's paint up some Gretchen, I think. That's what I'll do. Let me get my paint box, my box of paints. Paint box.
They're frozen. Ask your doctor, might you laugh if it's a cheap one. Break them out. I paid a fortune. This team. They'll pull my sled. All right, let's go. Rush! Lazy mutts! Rush!
Raw flesh. Gonna paint up a couple of Gretchen quickly. Then I'll go back to paint up that thing when that's dried. Then once that's painted, we'll move on to the actual character here. But Gretchen just a slow plot because they're like regulars.
What happened to you? I'm sorry to cut this short, but there's a more immediate matter that needs to be resolved. Lieutenant Channing, I'm Captain Ed Mercer. I feel like a jerk saying this to you after what you've been through, but
The stratagem, Mobile Decker Storm, only applies to your basically stuff that has turbo, your shoots in truck, your speed freaks in truck, sorry, that has shot. Select one enemy unit hit by one or more of these attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a model in a speed freaks or trucks unit from your army makes an attack, that unit improves the strength characteristic attacks by 2. The third that they use until the end each time a model in a speed freaks or trucks model means it applies to the speed freaks and trucks, but also applies to anything embarked in them. Or it possibly only means the embarked units? I'm still reading that as the embarked units and the vehicle itself. But improving your strength characteristic to 2 is great. If you weren't hitting on 5s. Then you have the special ammo, SPESHUL ammo. One orc unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Range weapons with that model in your unit, excluding torrent weapons, have the anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4-up keywords. That's actually not bad. Not bad at all. If anti-monster and anti-vehicle are a bunch of shooters, so you wound them on 4s. Shooters are strength 5, so hit on 4s is quite good. Wounded on 4s is quite good. The dead kitty construction. Sorry, this is orc pronunciations. I'm English. I should be great at this. No, basically, one speed freaks or trucks unit that has not fought yet. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped enemies will have the Lance ability, and if you've made a charge move this turn, add 1 to the damage characteristic. Basically meaning you only use this when you charge. You get the Lance keyword, and you get the damage if you've charged. But Lance is only applied for when you charge. Meaning that, effectively, unless you charge, you don't get the benefits of this stratagem at all. Yeah. Crit when I have the lot. So that means when you charge, you get +1 to wound and +1 damage. If you don't charge, you get nothing. Glorious planning, GW. They should have flipped it the other way around. +1 damage, and you have Lance on the charge. Because then you wouldn't even need to add that. And you've got Dust Trails. In your opponent's shooting phase, select one all unit that was selected as a target of 1 more attacks. At the end of the phase, that unit has cover. It's just smoke, but worse. Then you have evasive maneuver. Maneuver. End of your opponent's fight phase. 1 speed freak or truck units. Remove it unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve. So just uppy downies for basically free for 1 CP at 1 command point. Great. I'm gonna paint up 3 Gretchen. I think that's the equivalent. But no. And then they got a second announcement. Blitz Brigade. Oh yes, this is the disembarking one, yeah. The Blitz Brigade. Each time an Orc unit from your army disembarks from transport, and until the end of the turn, reroll advance and charge rolls made by Orc units. So when they disembark, you can reroll advance and charge rolls. That's quite handy, actually. Their enhancements. Running boots. There's no G on that running, it's an apostrophe. Orc infantry character. Each time you make a charge roll for the bearer's unit, if that unit disembarked from transport, add one to the result. So not only do you get rerolls, advance, and charges, you get to add one to your charge roll if you've disembarked. Very much you want to get this going to even just 6 in range, makes that 5-inch charge with rerolls. So honestly, is it mad? And you have Blitz Captain on a character model. After both players have deployed their armies, if the bearer's unit transport is embarked in is on the battlefield, select up to 3 Orc vehicle units from your army and redeploy them. Basically just a reshuffle for your vehicles only. Supercharged Squig Oil, only available in your mech models. Probably because this is a mechanical based one. Okay, that's all the green done. But yeah, mech model only. Each time the bearer uses its mechanic ability until the end of the turn, you can reroll charge rolls for the selected vehicle model's unit. So reroll charges on vehicles, basically, which is kind of alright. You have Tough Kit, only available in your infantry. At the end of the phase in which the bearer's unit disembarks from transport, if that unit is battle shocked, it is no longer battle shocked. Basically, if a unit embarks and disembarks from a vehicle, it gets to undo battle shock, basically. That's going to be a 5-point enhancement. No two command point stratagems as well. I need a secondary page. I think round whip. Yeah. Orange gun. Silver and orange gun. Gun is also orange. Orange ship. And we'll go with some black tassels and boots. No. There is Squig. Mount up Lance, 1 Orc infantry unit at the end of the fight phase, not in within engagement range of one or more models, and 1 friendly transport that it's able to embark in. If your Orc infantry is wholly within 16 of transport, it can embark it within it. Basically, if your Orc unit, it actually gives you an excuse now to charge with your trucks. Because if you charge your trucks into a combat, and your Orc infantry kill the unit or barely not kill the unit, and your truck gets the finishing blow on it, you can then use this command point to get all those Orc infantry back into that truck for the next turn, where you can then reroll the next charge roll. Armored Duelist. Your shooting phase, 1 Orc vehicle unit from the army. This background as a pulpy science fiction writer becomes particularly interesting when you consider that Scientology's core beliefs involve ancient aliens. Yes, sir. Galactic confederacies and souls that have existed for trillions of years. I love aliens, by the way. My orange has dried out. Crap. That's like a full bottle as well. That's fucking annoying. Damn it. God damn it. This whole story is very
For a bit more context on L. Ron Hubbard, there's a quote that actually haunted him for decades. According to several of his
That's really
contemporaries, Hubbard
unfortunate
once
then.
declared at a science fiction gathering, a fucking nerd party, you don't get rich writing science fiction. If you want to get rich, you start a religion. I'm gonna write that one down. Of course, the church vehemently denies he ever said this because it would erode their legitimacy quite heavily. Hubbard, from fiction writer to religious founder, puckering, I would say. What would you say, little boy?
In that case, I'll only paint these three Gretchen up because otherwise the rest will look slightly dumb.
Before becoming
Now,
a religious leader, L. Ron
Armored
Hubbard
Duelist.
used his name writing
One orc unit that has not been selected to shoot this phase. At the end of the phase, each time your unit makes an attack targeting monster or vehicle, add one to the hit and add one to the rule roll. It's a very good ability then. Add +1 to hit and +1 to wound on basically thingies. It's great. Which means, also quite cool, is that
science fiction writers. Big failure, to be honest. Barely scraped by. This background as a pulpy science fiction writer becomes particularly interesting when you consider that Scientology's core beliefs involve ancient aliens. Yes, sir. Galactic Confederacy. That have existed for trillions of years. I love it, by the way, and I'm not a scientist. Yeah, wait to the video to decide whether or not I'm going to become one. All right, guys, we'll leave it up to you. If this video gets 100,000 likes, I will become. It's this whole story. It's very. For a bit more context on L. Ron Hubbard, there's a quote. According to several contemporaries, Hubbard once declared at a science fiction
grabbing some paint. Sorry.
nerd party. You don't get rich writing science fiction. If
Right.
you want to get rich, you start a religion.
No.
First, the church vehemently denies he ever said was secret. He rooted their legitimacy quite heavily. Yet, multiple witnesses.
That's quite interesting. Mechanized Brutality is another one. Do the back next. Where one battle wagon, killer rig, or hunter unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase. Each time that a unit disembarks from until the end. Each time a unit disembarks from your unit after your unit makes a normal move, that disembarking unit is still eligible to declare a charge in this turn.
And tax benefits that self-help groups or honest people just don't do. This guy Ron's a genius or whatever. So what is the appeal exactly? What does Scientology offer to attract so many followers it has for such a long time, in spite of it just being a made-up
video.
work of nonsense that was built to extract?
Yeah, basically, you're still eligible to declare a charge even if you disembark that turn.
Precise scientific method to free you from emotional pain, boost your abilities, and reveal your true potential. This is unlike traditional religions where you ask for faith in unseen gods. Scientology
is kind of neat.
as practical technology that can deliver.
And you get to reroll that charge roll as well since you disembarked, which I think makes it slightly better.
Your money back, guaranteed. They don't actually say. New members of Scientology typically start with basic courses focused.
No. Then you have Use in Trouble now. Literally the same selected unit models that was hit by one or more of your enemy's attack units in the opponent's shooting phase. One orc infantry unit embarked within your model can disembark and make a surge move. To do so, roll 1d6. Models that unit move a number of inches equal to his own, but this unit must enter the closest possible unit. When doing so, you can move within engagement range of an enemy unit. Oh, I also skipped one over, but we'll do that next. Then run them down. Same selection of units, your battle wagons, killer rigs, and hunter rigs. Select up to 2 other orc infant vehicle or monster units within 6 inches. So the end of the turn, your unit and each unit you selected are eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which they advance. So advance and charge, basically. And Impervious. Same selection of units in your opponent's shooting phase. To the enemy phase, each time an enemy targets, if the strength is greater than the toughness, subtract 1 from the wound. Means basically, instead you need to have it moves the damage table down by 1, but keeps now it requires if the toughness is less than your strength, still on freeze, but as soon as you get to toughness equals your strength on fourth, if your toughness is greater than your if the strength is greater than the toughness, now wounds on 4s. If the strength is double the toughness, wounds on 5s now instead of 6. No, other way round. Goes up from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3, 4, 5, 6. Because the ones that would be hitting on 2s would go to hitting on 3s, and the stuff hitting on 3s would then be hitting on 4s. Given the fact that these things are like T8 or 9, that's T10 weapons. So las cannons and that lot hit going wounded on 4 still. Which is kind of nice. Makes them a lot more survivable against a lot of anti-tank stuff. And I don't mean anti-tank the keyword, sorry, I mean anti-tank like high strength, high AP stuff. Right. But no, that's quite good. Then what did they get? Did they get any of the detachments? I don't think so. They might have. Oh yeah, the Tactical Brigade, Mordaka, and Freebooter's crew. They did get a Wazdaka Gut. Oh, it's named character on page 12. The named Armageddon character. Here we go. You can tell it's an index so the entire format changes.
Slay, what was up with that? I'm new to this teamwork stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to involve being stabbed in the back. I don't know these Hydra power-ups like we do. It's time for me to...
Alright, so. I'm gonna do all the ropes and stuff.
You're frustrated. I get it. The Oscorp building in it. Harry Osborn is your normal friend?
In Xander's dust. Wazdaka's Gutsmack. He is a mounted, but he also has the neo vehicle keyword. So, Tyrion players, you still get lethal hits on this man.
Yeah, it's great at video games. He's good at pushing buttons. Ready for battle mode? You can
30
battle
minutes,
and
so 27. Okay. Anyway, so he's 40 inches of movement.
There's always a battle mode.
T8. He is a mounted vehicle, Speed Freaks, Epic Hero, Smoke character, Wazdaka, Gutsmack. He is a T8, so not bad.
Exciting thing about the Osborns now is their family game night.
3 up save, 4 up invuln, so AP does nothing. Oh, actually, no. AP 1 is the best AP you can get on this man. You don't want to fire higher than AP 1 really into this man, because he'll just eat the AP, so weapons that have high AP for a reason, don't be bothered to put them into this man. It's not worth it.
Sick bird. Get back from...
But no. He's 10 wounds, so not bad. Leadership 6 up. OC 3. His 2 range weapons are probably... they're orky in a way. He's a grabber dagger, assault and precision, so it's meant for the... you see a character model leading the unit. Look it as I'm about to charge that unit. Try and knock out the character before you charge it, in case you don't kill the unit. But you should kill the unit. But you at least weaken the character down. It's 12-inch range, so it is literally within just charging distance. 1 attack, hitting on 2 surprisingly for an orc. Strength 10, AP 2, damage 3. This is what I would call an anti-character weapon. Why? You're hitting on 2s, but that's just the ballistic skill. Changes unit. the real sort of the way you can tell if it was designed for the unit: number of attacks, the strength, the AP, the damage. The single attack weapon, that's fine. Doesn't it often tell you high attack weapons more lean over to the infantry side, low attack weapons lead over to the vehicle monster side? But the last three stats are where you can really tell where a weapon goes. I'll explain them more in my tutorial tomorrow about how different weapons affect stuff. But basically, it's a strength 10 weapon. Most characters are T5, T4, T5, T6. So at least you're wounding most characters you're going to want to charge into on freeze. If there are characters that are like T7, 8, and 9, you're wounding on 5s. You probably don't want to be going into those. Or those things don't lead stuff anyway, so you don't need a precision keyword on them. But strength 10, so 7, 8s, and 9s are still wounding on 3s. If you're going into something that's T10, you're wasting this at this point. It's AP2. Most characters have Space Marine characters especially, 2 up save, 4 up invuln. You're not having any AP waste, you're making the guys wound on their save on their AP invulns. I can tell from experience, AP4 means duck shit, shizer. It's not. AP4 does not matter. I have rolled 3 ones and a 3 on a 4 up save. Damage 3. Most characters, low tier characters, have 3 wounds. Commissars have 3 wounds. Sort of non-named characters usually have 3 to 5 wounds. This knocks them down. This knocks them down to a couple more attacks and you kill them. Which is great for its next weapon, the Psycho Gatler. Because this model has a Gatling gun at the front of it. 24-inch range. Assault and sustained hits 1. So you're probably not even going to need all that range, but it's 24 inches, so you can target units like 2 feet away. 12 attacks. Here you can see this weapon will probably lean over to the infantry side of things instead of the vehicle side of things based on the 12 attacks, but you never know. Hitting on 4s because this is an orc. This is an orc character, but still an orc. So instead of hitting on 5s, you're hitting on 4s here.
Stop him, then maybe get your memories back. If he really has them. Rather than take you to him. How about the other way around?
But no. Strength 6, you're wounding most things. Space Marines are T4, so you're wounding those on freeze. You're wounding a lot of the infantry on freeze. The elite infantry as well. So strength 5. And then you go into the bodyguard units, you're probably wounding those on 4s. Such as Tyrant Guard, for an example that I know off the top of my head, they're T8. So you're wounding those on 5s. AP2, so you're getting most things on an invuln or a 4 to 6 up save. Guard don't get a save against this. This would be great input into guard. And damage 2, so again, Space Marines saving fine. Space Marines 2 damage each kills them. So hitting on 4s, you can use partial shots at 6 attacks. Wounded on 3, so you get 2 thirds of them. So 4 attacks on 5s means you lose about a third of them, so you lose about 1. So you're killing about 2 to 3 Space Marines per Gatling shot. Which is quite nice, because if they are running a squad of 5 with a character, suddenly that character's now on like 2 wounds, and you've lost 3 Space Marines in that squad. So you got 2 Space Marines to body bag the damage, and he has so many attacks. It's unbelievable. He pulls a commissar grave with the number of attacks he has, but they're actually good. Like the way they fuse the attacks makes sense. He has fixed its range. Which I'm very confused on. Does he come with a token character like Gazgul? But he's fixed its range. An extra attack. 1 attack. So this is 1 attack. However, due to the fact it's an extra attack, attacks don't really matter. Usually these are 1 extra attack anyway. Hitting on 4s, even though they are orcs, it's still an extra attack, so you're hitting on 4s most of the time. Drink 3, AP 0, 1 damage. This is a lore attack. This is a attack that's designed to be tagged on for the sake of lore and funnies. This is wounding Guardsmen on 4s, everything else on 5s, Gretchen on 3s, but why are you plugging this man into Gretchen? AP 0, everything is on its normal save. Gretchen are on 6s, Guardsmen are on 5s, so on. 1 damage. I've been told we are in a 2 wound better, I can see it a lot. 1 damage is not a lot. Going back to the Space Marines, we're a squad of who and a guy on 2 wounds? Let's see 3 wounds, because I think Space Marines are 5 to 6. Let's see 3 wounds. One of those guys is now on a wound. Doesn't matter. His next attack, his speeding bulk and flaming exhaust. Now this one is a fusion, which I generally don't like. However, it's a fusion of two attacks that really don't often have stat profiles that are very sort of different or sort of change. Pardon me. It's an extra attack, 6 attacks. You know this is probably meant to be more pushing into the infantry side of things. Hitting on 2s because this is an orc character in melee. Yes, it's an extra attack, but this is actually like a proper extra attack. Strength 5, so you definitely know this is meant to be going infantry. Strength 6, 7, this is meant to be going into your infantry. Not really infantry. Regular standard, bog standard infantry. AP 1, damage 1. So this is 6 attacks hitting on 2, so you're losing 6 of them, so you're 5 attacks. In Space Marines, that's original 3, so you're getting 2/3 of them. It's 5 attacks, so you're losing about 2, so it's 3 attacks. AP 1, so they're 7 on 4, so half of them. So 1 damage. You've got 1 guy on 2 wounds, 1 guy on 3 wounds. Then you have Grab Attacker. This is Lance. So if you made a charge, you get +1 to wound on this. It's quite a nice ability. Very funny. Usually only seen on horses, so not usually seen. As not many people use horses, unfortunately. Though funny, I don't often actually like my horses either. So 6 attacks, so this is definitely going into the infantry side of things. Hitting on 2s, because orc in melee, orc character in melee. Strength 10. This is going in your... This can be into tanks, this can be into your light vehicles. The Hippogriffs are T9, so this is wounded Hippogriffs on freeze. Proves if you've charged them this turn. This wounds Space Marines on 2s naturally. You don't... I should specify. You are never able to hit on 1s. It's auto failures on 1s, so you're still wounded Space Marines on 2s with strength 10. AP2, so Space Marines are safe on 5, 3 damage a pop. 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, you're losing 1. That's 5 attacks. Strength 10, wounding on definitely 2s, so you're losing another 1. 4 attacks, AP2, so on 5 ups, you lose about a third of them, so 3 damage. You kill the squad. You kill 2 to 3 Space Marines, so you still kill the squad, even if you mess up your ranged attacks. It is quite fascinating. This guy can kill a Space Marine squad with a character, and you'll get the first one through, then you've got 3 extra attacks going into the character, who will have a 4-up in on. For those 3 attacks on 4-ups, he'll maybe lose another one, but he's on 3 wounds due to the dagger. Now, I am going to... This is going to be uploaded in 2 segments now, because I'm an idiot! I pressed stop recording instead of resume recording. That's great. So we'll carry on with Gretchen. Yay. Oh god, I am a complete idiot here. Gretchen are almost done actually. They need like one colour. But no. Oh yeah. Sorry. A second. Yeah, we're going for the new orc character. Spiritual dark rounds. We need to use Steel Legion trap here. He is dead to demise D3, Deep Strike, and Lone Operative, which means you can't shoot him further than 12 inches away. Which is funny. So he will always be within charge range for when you shoot him.
Of course. Busted this place up. So we redesigned it. Better. Iron Fist oversaw the feng shui. Can you feel the chi flowing over you? Maybe it's just the laser-guided targeting systems. Listen, Miles. I know I've been, overprotective, patronizing, out of line. I could keep going. I was hoping more like coolest big brother ever, but I guess
Finished one Gretchen off.
I might not be as great a hero as
It's one Gretchen so far. But no, here's the faction ability war. I will be going over faction certain army wars tomorrow, hopefully, with a webcam. It's hopefully gonna look really nice. But we have Fix the Grot. At the start of your command phase, this model regains D3 wounds. Very sustainable. He is with that he is a lot tougher to take down now because you kind of need to not instant kill him turn one, but you need to have enough damage where he can't just heal back all the damage on that turn. And then he has a frot, throttle rocket shocker engine. Throttle rocket is one word. Throttle rocket shocker engine. In your command phase, select one of these abilities. That is then a second Gretchen. Second Gretchen done. Onto one more Gretchen. But no, he gets turbo engines, where this unit is eligible to carry a charge in turn which advance or fall back, so advance fall back charge. He has a second ability, Shocker Attack Engine. If he's not within combat, if he's not in combat, he can be removed off the board in your command phase. And then that's the third Gretchen done. We're good on Gretchens now, so we'll continue on with this one for now. For those who are watching, I'll see if I can find a video recording software where I can just fuse the two videos together. But no, we're on to this one now. It's just, I think, the Elder Emerald needs to be added on. Some more reef repairs. Then Elder Emerald, but we'll do the gems first. While waiting. He also has pulse jets, which in each time this unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of the turn, add 6 inches to move characteristic. Models in this unit can move through terrain. He gets to move through terrain when he advances, basically, which is quite nice. Being able to move terrain while advancing is quite nice, especially when all your weapons are assault, so you always want to be moving. And he has the Wazdaka ability as well. This is on the back of his sheet. I read this wrong. I read walkers, not war bikes. If this model is your warlord, so this is his warlord trait, they are bringing back warlord traits here. Warbike units from your army have the battle line keyword. Me and a mate figured this out. You can bring 6 warbikes and him in a 1,000-point list. It is stupid. It is hilarious that it's 36 bikes because you can bring them in squads of 6. 37 bikes actually with this one man here. But other than that, orcs didn't get much else. And then we're going to do the magic. We're going to do eyes and gems. And then we're going to paint up. The votann for a bit. Then once the votann's bit painted up, we will resume back to just painting the thingies. Then I'll move on to the horses. And then move back to the votann. Nope, all good then. It's all of them. So let's move on to the votann now. I think that makes it very good. Just turn it on. Yeah, that makes it much better now. Great. So, we're just gonna do the base coat, so the base leather, and then we'll do the armor. We're not gonna do any of the fancy bits yet. Actually, no, we'll just do the base leather for now in the hobgoblin hide. And now time for the armor. Armor is done in a. Up and back. It's done in a Baraka no burgundy. Nice burgundy color. Right, sorry, I kind of blanked out for a moment. Right, let's go on to now. Depth Sororitas and Imperial Agents did just get 2 units, so we'll just talk about those. Sorry, again, I do it sometimes where I kind of just dig so deep into a fort that I kind of lose myself. Imperial Agents just got a single new Imperial, who I have got. Update. Yarrick has been secured, so has this new Imperial Agent, the horseback one, who has some unique abilities of his own. He's a mounted character, he's an epic hero, Imperium, Grenades, Order, Xenos, Inquisitor, Crown. No, I'm not starting an Imperial Agents army yet. In which case I should say I'm not starting the Death Watch army yet. But no, I just want this Inquisitor to bring in my Atom Military while I bring all the horses! Yay! I would effectively need the official Lord Solar model that's horsey, but like, meh. I'll be way later down the line. 12-inch movement, T4, free up save, 4 up invuln, so AP1 is the only thing that really hurts this guy. But no. But he is 6 wounds, 6 up leadership, 2 OC. He has a Jadari Tox Cycle. This is a really cool weapon. You can probably tell it's designed for a specific use case. But it is heavy. Anti-monster 2 up precision. It does not need, however, the anti-monster 2 up. It only gets the anti-monster 2 up, I think, in case you can give it dev wounds. It'd be ridiculous if you can give this man dev wounds. But no, basically, it is anti-monster 2 up, heavy in precision. You're always wounded monsters and 2s. I don't care if you're a Glimming Bio Titan, a Hierophant, or a Hierodon, where I would be wounding you on 6s still, I believe. Because strength 6, so I would definitely be wounding you. I don't care if you're actually a T-Fex either, where I'd be wounding you on 6s. No, I'm actually wounding you on the opposite side of the spectrum, thank you very much. G2, I'm wounding you on 2s. However, you may be asking, well, this is kind of shit. This should be kind of bad against infantry. It's not. It's 36-inch range, 1 attack. It is a sniper rifle. This is designed for monsters. Look, it's also precision, so it's also designed for the most character takeouts known to man. You'll see this with its ability later. Let's kill 2 up, strength 6, so wouldn't most characters on freeze? Choose on the lower end if you're Imperial Guard player, but usually freeze or falls. AP2, so you're going on those 4 up invulns, 2 damage. You'd say, this isn't really a monster weapon. This is, without the anti-monster 2 up, this would be more of a character killer, like the other, the dagger. Good catch. It's precision heavy. You may be asking, why heavy? It's already got 2 up. You can't -1 to hit this man, or -1 to ballistic. You have to -1 to the ballistic and hit this character to get a hit on freeze. Heavy ignores that if he stands still. However, he is very vulnerable, so you kind of want to keep him moving around. He also has a stub carbine pistol. 2 attacks hitting on 2s, strength 5. It's a pistol, so you can shoot this in melee. Strength 5, AP2, damage 2. It's a very good pistol. It is just a pew pew gun to shoot if this man has gone in melee. So I believe I've done this. I got to do the backpack bit. This man is very good at taking out monsters and characters. He has 2 attacks, a Butcher's Blade, melee, 5 attacks, hitting on phrase, strength 4, AP2, damage 1. This is a power weapon profile. It's not called a power weapon, this is a power weapon profile. I have seen it so many times. However, it's +1 strength. Power weapons are strength 3 on guard infantry. This is strength 4. Makes kind of sense. This is a Inquisition. It has the Gorislick's claws and teeth. This is his mount, not technically a horse, but it's a creature. Extra attacks, 4 attacks, even though it has 6 legs. Technically, actually, it has 6 legs. The usual guard ones are 2 attacks, so it makes sense. Actually, they don't use their hind legs to attack as well. Hitting on 4s because this is an extra attack from a horse. Hit on 4s. Strength 5, so pretty strong horse. AP1, damage 1. Don't get this man into melee, really. You're going to target a small group of Hormagaunts? Sure, you can't kill them all though, because you've only got 9 attacks. So you better make sure you have cover and fire on this man, because otherwise he can't kill. Which is a great run-in. He's got lone operative and scout 6 inches, so he will be off the board like that. He then has an ability. On my signal, fire. After he's shot, he can, after this unit is shot, you can select one enemy unit hit by those attacks until the end of the turn, agents of the Imperium or Imperium Infantry Battle Line. So, Imperium Battle Line units. which isn't a lot, but it's still quite a nice buff. Get reroll hit rolls. Again, this is probably more designed to be played in Imperial Agents, but no one plays Imperial Agents, they play Death Watch. And then he has the Toxic Cyclone. This is the ability for his rifle, his main gun. If he scores a hit, add 2 to the damage and strength characteristic model to a maximum damage of 6. So you only get to do this twice because it's strength 2 to strength 4, strength 6. This means its strength goes up to strength 8, then strength 10. So wounded monsters on 2-up is actually still great. However, you're wounded almost everything on 2-up. No, there's a large section known as vehicles you won't wound on 2-ups nor mounted units. You'll be wounding vehicles on 4s and 5s most likely still, so strength 10 isn't that bad. But that goes to 6 damage. That one-shots most characters. Yes, this is round 3 minimum. Actually, no. This can be done in round 2 in your opponent's shooting phase, because it's... Oh no, it's in your shooting phase, sorry. So unless he can shoot again, he can't, because it's classified... Actually, that might still be able to turn to your opponent's shooting phase, because Overwatch is like as if you were shooting in your shooting phase. So you might be able to get this out. It's still a minimum of turn 3, but now actually no, it'd be minimum of turn 4 to get them back then because it's after you shot. So you can get it at the start of turn 3, which is quite good because then you can start killing much quicker. Which is always a good thing. You can kill the big stuff slightly faster. Right, that's the burgundy done. So we'll move on to doing the last bit on the skeleton. And do a bit more on the votann. Sorry guys, give me a second. Sorry about that. Yes, as you can tell, I pressed the play button this time and not the stop button. I hope there's a video editing software out there. Yeah, onto the U, because you just need 2 bits now. Emerald, Emerald, and then the... Yeah, you should all be... no, the middle gem as well. Get off the burgundy. Do 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 do. No. So no. He's very good against monsters, and he'll be very good against monsters, and he'll be good against vehicles, but he'll need to get up to round 3. He'll be great for a character sniper as well, though. You can just tell he'll be able to snipe characters out, like, possibly even Old One Eye. Because yes, the 5-up Feel No Pain's gonna bloody suck, but that's... You can probably pop off some shots on Old One Eye. We have done one. Actually, no, we have not done one, unfortunately. I only just realised, not only have I forgotten to do the middle gem, but I've also forgotten that we need mud on base. My bad. Sorry, I can sometimes forget my colour schemes. Especially when it comes to basing. There's that. Now it's time for basing. Alright, time for basing. No, where's my mud? Where's my mud? It's really hard to get out now because it's not going onto the lid anymore. It's kind of just flopping down back into the thingy. So sometimes I feel like I don't have any mud, but I do. It'll be a great character. But once I've done the mud, I will swap over to doing the other lady, the sister. So, just doing run the front mud basically. Ah, okay, here's the finished product. There we go. Alright, that's the finished product. There's one. Now, alright, pause it. Alright, back onto votann. Right. That's a nice light blue eyes. You can pop out from the purple. So you're going dark blue where you can't really tell. Then dark blue, the first colour I painted my space marines in before realizing it's a horrible colour to paint space marines in. You. Now we have been told gold for the medals. Do have to edit my guy here. So I did use one bit of that one here. we go. Got all the metals on the sky. These little bare bits on the sides. The wiring in gold. Dark red cake, I believe. We'll go a nice purple as well. Corn red will work for a nice dark red. Be careful here. Let's have a look. Yeah. Alright, that's the new guy. Let's go have a look at the sisters one quickly. The Intransite Freya. Vehicle Walker Imperium character. Penitent Epic Hero. Oh, so it's an Epic Hero. I thought this was just a regular character. No, just an Epic Hero. Interesting choice. Comes with a heavy bolter. The stated one, 36-inch range. 3 attack, so average. You probably won't get, you'll get 3 attacks on average and not rolling any 6s on 3 attacks. Because like a 1 in 6 chance 3 times, it's 3 and 6 so half the time you score 1. So yeah, ballistic until 2, so you're hitting on 2s, strength 5, AP1, damage 2, so that's not a bad amount in Space Marines and such. It's a heavy bolter. There's surprisingly no heavy keyword. To repeat that golden burgundy. It's annoying. Paragraph 9. But no. Then she has a melter missile array, melter to 24-inch range, which means when some melters, like melter guns, get in range, you get melter on them. You get melter on this. That is hilarious. It's a melter missile array. 2 attacks hitting on twos. Strength 9, AP 2, damage R D3, that's why. Because the melter's D6, so this is a melter missile array, so you get half the damage, but you are always getting +2 to that. So when melters get D6 damage, on average 4 damage, you're getting 4 damage on average as well, but you can go up to 5 damage, whereas a melter gun will cap at 6 damage, but you'll be at 5 damage at your maximum at the same range. So melter guns are much better for close range combat, because they'll go up to 8 damage instead of the 5 damage you're capped at. It's next to 3 wounds. And then she has the Ministorum Heavy Flamers. 12-inch range, E6 attacks, strength 6, AP 1, damage 1. That's a good flamer. That's a very good flamer if I've seen one. Especially for stuff like Overwatching and stuff, that's a very good flamer. We'll let her for now, then do repairs on that. Okay, I'm gonna move on to a horse now. I'll do this horse over here. You need the big, because I need to lever it up in Roof Bone. No. Then her attacks are the Mace of St. Corexidus. Sustained hits 1. 4 attacks are still not guaranteed to sustain, but 4 attacks, that's 4 of 6, that's 2/3 of the time. 2/3 of the time you're guaranteed at least 1 sustained hit. Always nice to have. Hitting on 2s, strength 6, AP 2, damage 2. Great against sort of infantry, even elites as well. Decent against elites because strength 6. And her second attack is the Throne of Blame. 4 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1. Very strong throne in the strength department, but no AP. Kind of drags it down a bit. So this is definitely a, you put it against the infantry line. Deadly Demise 1, this is a vehicle, this is a walker at least. It is a walker, okay, good. Deadly Demise 1, 5-up Theonopain, naturally, always a good thing. 5-up Theonopains are like, oh, it's only got a 5-up Theonopain. It's like, yeah, it is a 5-up Theonopain. You'll be surprised how much work a 5-up Theonopain can really do. Old One Eye, for example, seems to be a very survivable character at the moment. At least when I've tried to shoot into Old One Eye. Seems very survivable with a 5-up Theonopain. There we go. Now we just need to let that dry for a bit. You can then start plastering on some word bearers red on those things. Act of Faith, I don't know what Sisters does. I don't own Sisters. I can talk if anyone's interested in me doing Sisters. I unfortunately can't at the moment. Hopefully one day in the future I'll have 1,000 points of Sisters. I think there's a small army I want to grab. Won't be recent-ish, but it'll be a small army. I don't know what I'd do with the paint scheme wise though. Corn, where's my word bearers? No. So, at the start of the so one of her abilities, righteous di, di, Communication. At the start of your fight phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of this model must take a battle shock test. Subtract 1. She doesn't even need to be in a fight, she should just be at the start of your fight phase. Take a battle shock test. And then Judge of Executions. At the end of your movement phase, select one enemy unit with 18 inches. Adeptus Sororitas models making attacks that target a unit have lethal hits! Oh, that's nice. The Sororitas are known for their flamers, which isn't the best, but lethal hits on a bunch of, lethal hits is great. If Sororitas weren't known for melters and flamers, two weapons that really don't need lethal hits, flamers especially don't need lethal hits, because you don't roll to hit with flamers. You don't, so you can't crit with flamers. And melters, yes, you can crit with melters, but they're strength 9 anyway. So, unless you're going into a tank, some lethal hits are kind of nice on melters, but not the best. So her basically wrapped up. She doesn't have much, surprisingly, but neither of those two. I think Yarrick and the Orc guy got the most out of this. Orcs, Minotaur Field Manual. Oh, besides Space Marines, who got a whole 2 new detachments, which I have not seen before. So we can have a look at them. Always Space Marines, isn't it? Always Space Marines. That's that blush off, but more of it needs to dry off, unfortunately. You're still a bit wet, unfortunately, as well. Oh wait, we'll take up some of this Diff Dread I have that needs to also be painted. Okay, that's from the Umbridon back this. They have one detachment called the Armored Spearhead. Ravage deployment is its rule. Each time an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army disembarks from a transport that made a normal or advanced move, disembarked unit can make a normal move of D6 or a normal move of D3 plus 3 if the transport key has the heavy transport keyword. You may be wondering, heavy transports are a thing? No, they're not. This is a detachment specific thing, like the Guard detachment has, where specific the squadron units that had less than 13 wounds got it. No. So a heavy transport is defined as a transport that's not an aircraft with 14 or more wounds. That's the definition of a heavy transport. 14 or more wounds. Some enhancements. So if you're disembarking from a regular transport, a unit can still make a D6 move, which means their movement basically turns into the movement of the transport plus D6 or D3 plus 3. But they can still move the same distance, but you're minimally moving that unit on 4s out of a heavy transport, whereas not minimally it's 3s. 1, sorry. Liberators. Adeptus Astartes models only if you control objective marker. Or any if this unit at the end of your command phase and the bearer's unit or any heavy transport it's embarked with, it's in range, it's sticky objectives. You get sticky objectives basically. There it is. That's then you have tip of the spear, Adeptus Astartes models only. Uh if it's embarked at the start of the battle, if it's embarked within a transport, that transport gets scout 9 inches. Basically, give your transport scout 9 inches. Great for getting units upboard super quickly. Shock deployment. Terminators or Gravis models only. In your shooter phase, each time this model makes a unit, if it disembarked, all its weapons have sustained its one. So it's quite nice. Especially if there's like a stratagem to give you crits or something. An ability that gives you the crits on 5s or something. It's always good to have one of those. This death trade has been killed by a Miracle Dice Hunter Killer Missile. I am painting it black to make sure it never does that again. I will invoke the power of belief. Please, Death Dread, never die to a Hunter Killer Missile Miracle Dice again. Please. I'm painting you black for this one reason. Has Armored Commander. Adapts to starting model enemies. Once per turn in your movie phase, this bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select one transport that is in strategic reserves. Basically meaning you can, if the transport has deep strike for some reason, it can deep strike turn 1. It basically increases the round number by 1. So you can also bring it from deployment, from strategic reserve turn 1. Don't know why you would, but you can bring it from strategic reserve turn 1. Actually, no, it can come from 9 inches across the board anyway, so yeah. Only useful though on turn 1. Actually, no, it can be useful on higher turns, depending on how turn 4 works, where all your models get destroyed if they're within deep strike. I think I will cover in probably part 3 of the tutorial videos I'm doing. But as depends on how that works, because if it happens at the end of your movement phase, turn 4, once it is 1 higher means you could probably deep strike them. Like turn 4, if any units are in deep strike, they are destroyed. It's the start of turn 4, it's the command phase. Tough toes, come on. Come on, I'm making you tough. Giving you the toughest of toes. So you never die to a random thing again. Alright. Will you try now? It's a bit wet. I think that's enough on the Death Dread for now, because you should be doing that. Fix you free up. First off, fix the burgundy up. But no, I will hopefully have that guy done by the end of today. Probably won't have this guy done, unfortunately, by the end of the day, but meh. glorious god. Once that's done, the skeleton horse should definitely be dry. That'll be the last thing I'll be painting today. Let me find a video software. So yeah, stratagem wise, no two command point stratagems. Machine Wrath. Oh, God, that took me like 3 attempts. Dummy. Basically, any phase just after a heavy transport unit is destroyed. The heavy transport unit you can use the stratagem on, even though it was just destroyed. Basically, you can move it, then deadly demise it. Basically, you move it, then you deadly demise and do all your ejection shit. So you can move it, then deadly demise roll, and even if it doesn't blow up, you can still do the ejection within that area. Like a free move as well, which is nice. Right, let's get him almost done. Armor of Contempt. In your shooting phase, one adept is only selected. Worsen the AP basically, worsen the opponent's AP by 1, so AP 1 becomes AP 0. Quite nice. It's like benefit of cover, but bad because it can turn your 3 up saves into 2 up saves again, because reduce the AP by 1. But it doesn't work on AP 0 weapons. Rapid Embarkation. One adept is end of the fight phase. It's basically the Orc one. You can hop back in the transport wholly within if it's a heavy transport, though. Not a regular transport, a heavy one. Ceramite Sledgehammer. One adapted to at the end of the phase, each time you make a normal advancement, it can move horizontally through terrain. In addition, if the model is a heavy transport, you can move through enemy models, excluding monsters' vehicles, and you can move within engagement range of such models, but cannot end within engagement range. And any desperate escape test is automatically passed. If that's only for heavy transports, though. So for normal transports, you only get to move through terrain. Heavy transports get to move through enemy units that aren't monsters or vehicles. All desperate escape tests are auto passed as well. It's quite nice. You can also move through enemy models' engagement range, but you cannot end engagement range within them. Right, let's pick up some of the bits for now. And then, Purgation Doctrine. Purgation Doctrine. One adapts to start each unit from your army from your army that has not been selected to shoot in this phase. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If your unit has disembarked from a heavy transport, add 1 to the wound roll. Don't know why that bit's in brackets for. No. I'll take the break there from reading off the detachments. There is one more Space Marine one, but it is just Space Marines. I don't often play Space Marines. Actually, I don't think I have Space Marines for a while. I play more Chaos Space Marines than anything else Space Marine related. No. So, I thought I'd go over some lore. Lore needs these aren't mine, these are for a commission I'm doing. That's what inspired me to get into making these into YouTube videos in the first place was, oh, these are commission work, might as well make an extra buck on them. If I'm allowed, obviously, I ask permission. I have the consent to record these models, but might as well record them as well to make a bit of extra cash, maybe. I don't actually make cash, I won't make cash on this, I know it. It's mainly for possible future endeavours, who knows, and it's also just quite nice to record. But no, we'll do some lore on my orcs for today. Basically, my orcs are a freebooter warband, very much employed on the sneaky side of things. Main reason being is that their entire strategy is to sneak around with the hive fleet that they're following currently. Yeah, these orcs are following hive ships, and they loot the planets beforehand before the Hive fleets come. So when the Hive fleet is invading one planet, they invade the other planets to crop their resources, basically rob them blind while they're being invaded, while other planets in the system are being invaded. They never stay on the planet for too long, and they always have someone watching the Hive fleet. This is usually a weird boy. They have a system where basically their war boss has a weird boy with them. And if the weird boy's head explodes, they evacuate because the weird boy's head exploding means the weird boy has detected the shadows in the warp for the Tyranids, so they get off the planet, make way for the Tyranids, and invade the next planet, and loot and crump and do fights. They are a little less orky. They like a good crumping, but they like a good one-sided crumping. They like to be able to rush the opponent with tactics such as 2v1 in an enemy unit, or go round the sides for extra crumping. They employ strategic thinking and sneaky boys that go round the back to do a full crump circle. The war boss also seems to have sort of almost a constant supply. This definitely doesn't have anything to the fact that his pain boy seems able to make weird boys out of regular orcs. Definitely has nothing to do with that one pain boy. No relation at all to the sudden increase in weird boys in the warband and the pain boy joining them. Generally speaking, their location is on the planet Icorix. Their asteroid got actually accidentally knocked into a Tyranid hive ship. The hive ship ranked one of the engines and sent them flying into Icorix instead of where they would wanted to land, which was to crash land on the moon to deploy their units to just basically space hop over to the planet. And instead they crashed into one of the main lava oceans. So while the asteroid is sort of splashed halfway into a lava ocean, lots of orcs died then. The war boss is getting his big mechs to repair the ship to the big rock, to dig it out and reverse so they don't get crumped by the high ships, while also sending out shooters and war bikers and death threads who collect resources for the rebuilding by looting and scrapping with the local tribes. Though handled mostly by the local PDF, they have encountered much higher resistance recently with the introduction of the, well, not introduction, but the higher deployment of Space Marines due to the incoming Tyranid invasion that's about to happen. Previously on the planet, the second company was the one deployed, or the Space Marines, of the Infernal Sentinels. The second company was deployed on the planet as its regional army. They were meant to help train up the PDF. The leader, I can't remember his name, I made him, but the leader is in Gravis armor with a grav gun and a power fist, a massive gravity power fist, and a graviton gun on his shoulder. And he's basically the sort of advisor to the governor's planetary body, also the commander of the second platoon of the Acorix PDF force. He's the second in command of the thing, which is basically the force that is purely meant to guard their fortress monastery. As the Icorix PDF is divided into 5 subsections, 4 guard the 4 main hive minds. One of them guards the fortress monastery. There is an auxiliary detachment that is used to guard the caravans that go round the planet. This is more lore based on the actual citizens. Um, but yeah, no, that basically. Do need to get this out for the eyes and that kind of thing. But we'll do lead voucher for now. That's the basic lore for it. The orcs have crash landed and they're sending shooters out. But due to the recent Tyranid invasion, the first company, along with the chapter master, have returned to be stationed on the planet. So there are now 200 about 200 space marines on this planet on all times. One of which is the first company with the chapter master and its honor guard, and the other one is the stalwart defenders of the planet. But yeah, no, basically speaking, the orcs have kind of the repairs of the asteroid that they are planning to bank on to get out has slowed down a bit, causing them to encounter some of the Tyranids they had previously been using as bait. The Tyranids do not know this, and they will not know this, as they have no mind of their own. But the Tyranids seem to be more aggressive to these orcs than the usual orcs, as they seem to send vanguard lictors to take out the boss knobs and that kind of thing, the big knobs of the thingies. No reason why at all. Why? The High Fleet seems to have taken a special vendetta against these specific orcs. Alright then. There's bits of other influence. But no. So the orcs are currently stuck on the planet currently and are trying to break out as quickly as possible because the Tyranid invasion is coming. Moving on to, let's do the votann next because I am painting on the models. The votann was a mining expedition, got awry, colliding with High Fleet Pool, High Fleet that's currently invaded, then got knocked into the Icoric system and crash landed on the planet. Now, for them, they had crash landed on the planet at one of the mountains and made that their base camp. Started mining the planet out for minerals because they were meant to be mining on a different planet, so they might as well start mining this planet then. They got nothing else better to do, really. So they started mining the planet for its resources. And then they got a distress alert from the local Imperial Guard as they look up into the sky and see about 100 hive ships blocking out the sun. Just 100 hive ships blocking out the sun. The votann, knowing what this enemy is and knowing they can't escape, made a pact with the chapter master of the second company of the Space Marines, the captain of the second company, and the Icorix's minister, where they would help provide resources, defense, and strategies for countering the Tyranids in exchange for being provided with resources in return and supplies and that lot to defend their own. And that was basically the whole gist of it, that the votann would basically be integrated into the Icorix army as a sort of subsection. They'd be given resources and imperial weaponry and that lot. In exchange, the votann would give them votann that use the votann for strategies and stuff as well. They still do continue to mine the mountain. Uh, Often they are more used in scouting regiments now. The votann have a lot of their hover vehicles and that lot going down, and they have a lot of half guard, strong, bulky terminators that usually guard their guys. They have often sort of a scouting sort of company, and then they have a mainly focused one. They employ a surprisingly little number of berserkers, having a couple, roughly 30 to 40 berserker unit people with them at hand, due to their nature of, well, they used to be basically a mining expedition that went to asteroids and barren rocks and basically mined them out. So they needed minimal, because they were only on one ship as well. It was less of a mining expedition than a mining ship. They only had one ship, so they only needed minimal berserkers to actually defend them, as they have a large number of guard as well. That needs drying off, but we've almost done the horsey. Second horsey done. But then I'm gonna call it quits there for the day. We've done we've done three greching as well, and three models basically. Then I'll find a recording software to fuse these two together. Actually, I'll find one now. But yeah, no, I'm gonna find one now quickly, so I'm gonna pause this quickly. I think I solved the problem now. I can do it apparently in thingy anyway. It's a bit wet, unfortunately. You need to goldify this one a bit. Well, goldify and then do some of the base. Might as well do the base layer one here, waiting for that one to be done. And now, another way to fuse them, I can do it apparently in Microsoft. If not, I can do it in OBS as well. Just a bit harder and there's like a little gap in between. Crap, I'm using the wrong red, aren't I? Yes. Word Bear is red because Icorix is much more sort of Martian sort of bit. No, so basically the votann are now stuck there trying to defend the planet. The Tyranny, the Orcs are also stuck there now. The Orcs are very much stuck there as well now. And they're trying to sort of stave off the Tyranids and the Vanguard units that are being sent at. The Imperial Guard is obviously subdivided into 5 sections. Each one is controlled by someone. Basically, the law is that there is one Supreme Commander who drives around on an ATV. And basically stabs people with his cane in the eyes and then stabs them with a sword so they're distracted. He's the Lord Commander. He drives around on the ATVs with his driver named Jack and just stabs people in the eyes and stabs them with his sword. And when he's at sort of 12-inch range, he'll shoot them with his pistol. That's about it. Basically, that's his entire strategy. Um, there is the main hive city, which is defended by uh Lord Commissar Inface. His model looks like what he sounds like. Here's Lord Commissar Inface. Yes, I did that by that one model. But he is in charge of the main hive. Then other hives, you've got some further down commissars, like who will be my commissar Greaves will be one of them as well. Basically, just that. Yarrick will not be a proxy; it will be Yarrick. I'm proxying Lord Solar as my Lord Commissar for the planet. But the Lord Commissar only reports to the planetary governor slash the Space Marine, the captain of the second company. He reports to that. Obviously, the Space Marine captain, kind of reports to him because advisor in that lot. But technically, the Space Marine commander is also the captain of the 5th Icorex Regiment, being the one that's guarding the Fortress Monastery. So he basically has to report to the governor, who gets advice from the second company. The second company has its own division of basically Astra Militarum alongside their serfs and their local defenders as well for the planet. However, he also reports to the guy in the matters of the Astra Militarum in the form of if he's got too many casualties, or if he's running low on tanks, or if he's got too much ammo. I'm getting slightly tired. I only realised I've had a monster this entire time. Also, um, I was going to do it today in a gaming video because I found out how I can switch the tabs easier. I can switch from one tab to the other to make a tier list on because we got a new one today. We've got lemonade, Aussie lemonade, which is quite convenient. Australia is appearing in my life more and more, apparently. I have so many fun stories. I actually have two fun stories. Yeah, that's about it. Right, once that's right off, I'll finish that off and then replay the clips into that. And it should be good. We should be done. But now let's have some nice. But no. So it's a weird structure. The fifth company is a weird structure. But no. Commissar Yarrick will not be proxied as you think. I have it inbuilt as law that Yarrick's summer vacation is Icorics. When you know that disappearance where Yarrick left for the third war of Armageddon to the fourth war? Why he wasn't really there, why he disappeared and was thought to be dead? No, he just went to Icorics because he really wanted to escape Gazgul, and instead found a Tyranid invasion that he's now defending. Hmm. It's got a tangy taste to it. It's lemonade. It's got a nice tangy taste to it. We're not saying it's as good as the tropical one, but it's actually kind of nicer than normal lemonade in a way. Mm. But no, you need to shave as well probably tonight. But no, basically, Yarrick doesn't operate in the system. When Yarrick comes around, he takes over the system. The Lord Commissar reports to Yarrick, but as the Lord Commissar knows from experience, yeah, that's just the light. Yarrick is in charge. The man is respectable. You do not speak a word about Yarrick, basically. Um, the Icorics military itself has two Baneblades and a Storm Hammer. I haven't actually got the models for them, I've only got Maples so far. Has two Baneblades and a small hammer, and about three sort of Macariuses, the smaller Baneblades. The Storm Hammer and the three Macariuses were found in the vaults of Icorics, known simply as the Magma Vault. I don't know why I put S there. The Magma Vault is less of a vault and more of a connection of vaults, storing a bunch of weapons from the Heresy and further back, to the point where the Icorics, all these sort of high cities, require a sort of connection to the vault's power supply because they have extremely good stabilizers that use lots of power. However, this power supply's power is generating so much electricity. It generates so much electricity, but it's also managing its own output. So it's constantly producing enough electricity, and you can't really, there's no too much energy or too little energy. It's constantly doing it. There's only been one recorded time when there was a power shutdown on Icorics. That's when the entire energy output went dead. This is why the planet has backup generators now. These backup generators produce enough for the stabilizers of the hive cities due to Icorix's temperament, I could say. There's lots of earthquakes. The hive cities have sort of stabilizers to sort of balance it out in a way so it doesn't constantly keep falling over. These are smaller hive cities as well. These are sort of less so the massive ones like Armageddon and sort of smaller hive cities in a way. But they have stabilizers, they take up a lot of power. So the generator's key things are life support systems, so sort of like sort of basic sort of defense systems and life support systems, that kind of thing. And the stabilizers are the last things to go. The life support goes before the stabilizers. But there's only been one recorded time, in which case a metal figure of silver glowing green hooks the what appeared to be entity of some kind out of the power supply to combat a Tyranid invasion of Leviathan, a vanguard assault of Leviathan that had came down onto the planet. Sorry, not Leviathan. It's I think it's Hydra. I think it's a segment of High Fleet Hydra that came down onto the planet, a vanguard force, and using this power, this metallic creature of cackling madness summoned what would be described as a entity of pure water, a sort of female figure in a way of pure water that could manipulate water to the molecular level. It was quite literally sucking oxygen and hydrogen out of the air to create even more water, and just wiped the Tyranids out with massive floods. This is what created the fifth continent of Icorix. The being of unknown created so much water that when it sort of launched the wave of water at the Tyranids got so pushed back that the water itself sort of created a fifth landmass. It's a small landmass, not very big. However, it is important for the Icorix migrations because as the lava sort of go back in, this landmass was so big that it joined two of the continents together. And since it's in the middle of a continental belt, like the UK currently is, it doesn't suffer from earthquakes as much. So it's often used as a midpoint for 3-year-long caravans that they go from one hive city. As the year goes along, the lava sort of recedes, crosses over to the midsection, sets up camp in this section, then heads over to the point where there is a small sort of settlement there. A small group of visitors, people do actually stay there full time. It's not a large amount of people, but it's enough that they sort of, as the caravan moves, there's sort of already stuff there for people to settle with. Very good, very nice lemonade. But no, that's basically that. And then this creature of Mutaz recaptured this being into the orb and put it back in the generator. However, he looked like he was restraining himself from just taking it, because every step he seemed to be shaking and sort of weeping, but there were no tears coming out of his glowing green eyes. He put it back and left in a flash of green, sort of hexagonal light, like a portal had just opened in front of him. If you couldn't guess, this was Trace and the Infinite. Very reluctantly giving back an artifact because he knew it would be important for later dates. And on the topic of Necrons, my Necrons inhabit a system in Icorix. It used to be a paradise world. In my heresy, it is the home world of my Legion, my Titan Legion house. And it is no longer a paradise world, it's an aquatic world. It is head to toe water. My Necrons in lore it's a tomb world, actually. It used to be a paradise world in itself, and the Necrons had colonized it, and there are two siblings that sort of ruled over a master tacticianer, settler, master tacticianer, settler, and city skylines speedrun expert, and a highly autistic child sister who likes the company of animals more than humans, was a great. Oh, well, Necrons actually. Necron tier. They have the T white R because they're not metal yet. But liked the company of animals more than the Necron other sort of things, apart from her brother and family, who she kind of got on with in a way. But she did prefer to hang out. She was an amazing warrior, especially in melee, range to range, an amazing strategist as well. Just couldn't get her thoughts out well. After the sort of reawakening after a thing, their planet had been entirely flooded due to the heresy. I can't remember what happened. I haven't made up what happened yet, but basically during the heresy, the traitors sunk the planet in so much water that not even the Titan legions could use it. So the Titans were kind of evacuated, and some still remain behind to this day, sunken underneath the water. And the Necron have waken up, but the sister has fallen to the Destroyer cult of Alpharius, using her as my Necrosaur proxy. But yeah, she's my Necrosaur proxy, and she fallen to the Destroyer cult. She has fits of mass rage. However, when she is purely alone with creatures of the sea, she doesn't seem to enter these raving things. As more Necrontyr come, in her vicinity, well, now Necrons, the more Necrons in her vicinity, the quicker she accelerates to degenerating mindset into a destroyer. When her brother's around, she doesn't do it either. That's it. Her brother's the only one that can have a normal conversation for a couple of hours. And the more Necrons come, the quicker the time lapse before she just turns into a pure destroyer. He is still an amazing strategist and has actually developed the ability to speak with the animals, the actual sort of sea life of the planet, to the point where she has given her brother, who now sits on a throne, my Silent King proxy, a device that allows him to translate and basically talk to animals himself and sort of control them in a way. Basically, he became Aquaman. He got the ability to speak with animals, basically. He became the Aquaman. And now he can control the oceans. Very good when you're defending a purely aquatic planet. I'll give him that. He got a good defense buff there when defending a purely aquatic planet, having the ability to control every fauna on the planet is quite good. Especially what fauna lie on this planet. I haven't given it a proper name yet. But no, basically they have all rusted over. That's why they're all sort of bronze. They've sort of rusted over, so they're slower than the average Necron now. They've all rusted over a bit, so they're a bit duller. And due to this, they have less warriors, but they have a higher concentration of elite class members, due to the fact that the warriors degraded quicker, and some of them actually broke apart. This also is why they have a reduced number of canoptic creatures, due to the fact that the water actually stops some of the canoptics from awakening to do their jobs properly. So they have stuck canoptics that have not been awakened yet, as the dynasty itself is still not fully awakened. The brother is their leader currently and is trying to reawaken the rest. Some of his personal bodyguard have also suffered from the Destroyer virus, the Destroyer cult thing, and so now he has tasked his sister with leading these, as she seems to get on better with the Destroyers. Still has the more Destroyers nearby, the quicker she degenerates into one of them. However, it's less so. What would often take 5 Necrons 2 hours before she goes completely insane now takes 10 Destroyers in that same 5 hour period, double almost, before she succumbs to her instincts, making her a much more valuable leader in Destroyer armies. So that's what he's tasked her with doing. She has accepted her role completely. She understands there's no going back now, so she's going to try her hardest to maintain control and do what is best for her people, even if that means being a monster. However, she's often still given time to herself. But yeah, the Titan Legion that stays there, they're my Imperialis Titan Legion. This is for mainly my Imperialis stuff, actually, not less so my Heresy for 30k in general, and more just my focused Imperialis. Titan Legions are from the Paradise mode, but due to the high amounts of water, the Titans are actually designed better for water combat. Their weapons are hotter, stronger, and faster in water, due to the fact that they have more vents, which, while on land, is a weak point, but while underwater, these vents open up, allowing for all that salt water to act as more cooling, so they can sort of increase their power reactors, making them stronger, faster, more durable void shields. And basically, they're designed for like sort of if the enemy is sort of got to go through water or that kind of thing, has to get through an ocean, and it sort of sends the Titan legions in to sort of wade through the water. These can operate under the water or in the water, and they will outcompete Titans larger than themselves in a one-on-one fight due to the bonuses. However, on land, it's the exact opposite. Smaller Titans counter the larger ones due to the increased air vents, which means less durable armor. Right, that's the horse done besides terrain. All good. Well, it was lovely to do this. It is 9:30. I'm going to try and fuse the two clips together now. Uh, hope you enjoyed. Do comment, like, and subscribe. I am going to do this now. Is this dumb? Entirely so. However, I do hope you enjoyed your law. If you want, I can do sort of series where I just babble on about my law and make slideshows about it. If there would comment if you would like that actually. Otherwise, I'm just going to babble on it in these painting episodes, so there won't be much consistency, and I won't know what I've talked about, so I may repeat some stuff. But if you would like to just see me do full-on hour or 2 hour talks on my law, be my guest. Do comment that. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your evening and get some good sleep.